Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Pen Positive with Vinod. And this is Vinod Narayan. And today in the book review, I have for you Digital Transformation by Thomas Siebel. If you've been in the tech industry, then I'm sure that in one way or the other, you have come in touch with products that Tom Siebel had something to do with. ERPs, CRM. And currently Tom is the CEO of C3.ai, an enterprise artificial intelligence company. And in his book, Digital Transformation, he is giving us a guide into what is happening and what is driving digital transformation around us in companies and in our lives. So that's a fascinating book. What we're going to do as part of this book review, I'm going to make some changes. We're going to have two sections, other than this section, of course. So the one section is going to be on what is in it, meaning I'm going to take you through each and every chapter in the book. And then I have a section where we'll talk about, as a reader, what did I get reading the book? So if you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And at Pen Positive, what I do is we work with companies, teams, individuals, helping them be more agile by creating content, coaching, and consulting. So if you want to talk business, if you want to have any consulting related engagement that you want to work with, or coaching or training with your team, you can go ahead and send me an email at agile@penpositive.com. That is agile@penpositive.com. Let's dive straight into the video. What is in it? So the book has 11 chapters. The first chapter is punctuated equilibrium. So where what Tom does is he draws parallels between the evolutionary changes and the business. So what he says is he introduces a concept to us called punctuated equilibrium. So what it means by punctuated equilibrium is, the concept is that evolutionary change happens through a series of bursts. Meaning, whenever there is a equilibrium, species is going on, things are normal, there is a punctuation that happens. Some environmental change, something catastrophic that creates mass extinction of species that are already there, and it creates or paves way for new species to form. So there have been 5 mass extinctions if you look at the history of Earth. And he's saying that that is how business is also changing. And he says we are at a point where we are having a punctuated equilibrium, and meaning the equilibrium that existed is being punctuated, and we are having a series of bursts that is going to evolutionarily change the way businesses run, which means you're going to have mass extinctions of business, and you're also going to have new species of companies or new models of business that will emerge. So that's where the first chapter comes. And then he gives us an introduction to digital transformation. So why is this book even relevant for that matter? So what he talks is that digital transformation, as he sees it, is the confluence of 4 different technologies. One is elastic cloud, the next one is big data, and the third one is artificial intelligence, and the fourth one is Internet of Things. So he's saying that the confluence of all these 4 technologies is what is making digital transformation such a great big thing. Then he takes us to this chapter called the information age that accelerates. So we've been well aware that change is happening, and we've been hearing that change in itself is accelerating. So he takes us through how the information age as we know it has been accelerating. He talks about telegraph, talks about telephones, mobile phones, internet, the digitalization and the internet, and these 2 waves, the impact of that, how it changed the way we do business. So that's on the 3rd chapter. The 4th chapter, from there he goes into each of these technologies in depth. So 4th chapter is on elastic cloud. So he takes us through the cloud space, makes people understand what it is and what are the future, what are the new developments that's happening, and why cloud becomes one of these 4 major technologies for digital transformation. Then he gets into big data. It talks us about the history of big data, how big data came into existence, what is the relevance of big data, and how big data technologies are transforming the way we connect with data or we understand data. And then he talks about AI. So artificial intelligence, again, he takes us to the history of artificial intelligence. One of the things that I interestingly figured out was we always there was somewhere behind my back that AI is something that's very new. But no, we've been always talking about how can we make machines as intelligent as human beings. But probably when we started talking about it during probably the mid of last century, we did not have technologies like big data and cloud that could give us the power to both store and also to analyze data at the level at which artificial intelligence can even work or can even exist. So I think that was an interesting thing for me when I read that. Then we get into the Internet of Things. And Internet of Things, again, he talks about when he heard about Internet of Things the first time and how Internet of Things is, along with artificial intelligence, is going to really change the landscape in which businesses are being performed and how they're going to grow. Then he talks about AI and government. So we all know government is one place where there's a lot of investment that happens when new technologies come into. And he talks about the investment that the US government does, the Chinese government does, and then also some areas where AI is becoming more and more popular and being invested into. And his point is that we have to have more and more investment on AI if you have to really be competitive in the global market as a government. Then he talks about the digital enterprise. How is all these digital transformation, these 4 technologies coming together? And he gives us examples of a few enterprises like Caterpillar, US Air Force, John Deere. So he says how these digital transformation and use of AI has really transformed these businesses and what they are doing. He also talks about 3M and a few other companies as well. And then the 10th chapter is about a new technology stack. So he's telling us that this is potentially the technology stack that he's proposing. There are a lot of tools, services available in the market, and stitching them all together can be a very complex activity. And what he suggests is that there is a space for an enterprise artificial intelligence software. And he is the CEO of C3.ai. So that's about the new technology stack. And the final chapter is the CEO action plan. And so when we talk about mass extinctions and how companies might go out of business, CEOs have a very important role to play. They have to not just be aware that something like digital transformation is coming and disrupting the market and the industry. They have to plug their company into this digital transformation. So if they cannot plug their company into the digital transformation, then it is very difficult going forward to lead the company and make it competitively advantageous in the market. So he gives us an action plan. He takes us through a few steps of what needs to be done. And that's an interesting, I felt, I mean, some of the things you might know, but putting them all together and saying that if you don't do these things, you are going back. You won't be able to compete in the coming days. So I think that is where the book closes. And now let's take a look at what I got as a reader reading the book. So we all, as readers, when we read a book, there is our experience, our liking to a book, or the matter that is told in the book. That's how we all could get different things when we read books. So I just want to share what I felt and what I got from the book. We all are in this change, which means you cannot escape the change that's happening. So digital transformation is happening throughout us. As a consumer, as a person working in the tech industry, as a company, as a team. So we are all part of this whole change means that change is happening and we cannot escape. We cannot just say that we don't want any part in it, because we are in it. And I think it's a survival of the prepared. So I felt saying that because we were talking about evolution and survival of the fittest, and I think what we are currently is survival of the prepared. If you're prepared, then you're going to survive. If you're not prepared, you cannot, and you will be part of the corporate extinctions that will happen. You know, in evolution, you didn't have a choice to be, you couldn't be prepared for what is coming. But here, at least you know something is coming, you can be prepared. So if you don't survive, that's your problem. And that's why I say it's survival of the prepared. Learning cannot stop. It's not about continuous learning. It's just that learning cannot stop. And in his last chapter, when he talks about the CEO's action plan, he talks about why it is important for us to travel, go anywhere with a book in hand. And he gives us insights into the Coursera courses that he recommends people within his company to take. And also he gives us a list of books that he thinks would really help us reading if you really want to be in charge of what's happening. Opportunities and challenges. So whenever you have something like this coming with a lot of opportunities, there are going to be a lot of challenges that come along with it. So I think at the same time, when we are addressing opportunities, we should address the challenges and bring them together, because really harnessing the opportunities will help us to manage the challenges better. Not an easy quick fix item. So if you think that digital transformation is something that you can just fix and maybe 2 months, let's get a digital transformation lead or consultant and get it resolved. No, I don't. From the book, and I think we all in the tech industry understand that it's not going to happen that way. Though if anyone says that it can just happen like that, I don't know. But it is not easy. Now, digital transformation is across the board. So when I used to work in enterprise content management system, we used to say we are doing digital transformation. Yes, from a marketing perspective, from a marketing function perspective, yes, we are doing digital transformation. But here, when we talk about digital transformation, that is the result of the confluence of 4 technologies. You're talking about transformation across the board. The companies change, their structure change, their way of working change, their business model change. So a lot of things change as part of digital transformation. So it's not just the marketing function, or it is not just automating something that was not automated before. You are going to rethink and reimagine how your company is functioning and how it's going to function. So that's what I get. And then an interesting thing that I figured is that being an agile consultant, I figured that when digital transformation happens, one of the most important, the key elements is organizational agility. And as a SAFe program consultant, what we get trained is working on business agility and organizational agility. And I think for agile consultants and agile companies, there's definitely going to be a lot of role to play when digital transformations happen. So that, I think, was my takeaways and what I got from the book. I would highly recommend you guys, if you're a student, if you're a CEO, if you're running your own company, mid-management, if you're in the tech industry or not, if you have anything to do with business, go ahead and buy and read Digital Transformation. You take care, and I'll see you again next time. If you want to reach me, it's agile@penpositive.com, and the name is Vinod Narayan. Thank you.